Not very often does the anime and manga community come together on a consensus opinion. This is the same community that fights over who's stronger, Goku or whatever OP character is hot that season. They fight over who's best girl in a series that doesn't even have girls in it. They will fight you over your own top 10 anime list. Point is, the anime community never agrees on anything. Except for the collective excitement for everyone's favorite romance manga finally getting its well-deserved anime adaptation. If you never heard of this series, Komi Can't Communicate is a story written and illustrated by Tomohito Oda and has been serialized in Shogakukan's Weekly Shonen Sunday since May 2016, with its chapters collected in 21 tankobon volumes as of May 2021. The story focuses on two leads, Shoko Komi and Hitohito Tadano. Like most high school romance stories, Shoko is the popular girl with the long black hair, tall, graceful appearance. She captures the attention of anyone that comes across her. There's just one problem though. Despite her immense popularity, Shoko is terrible at communicating with others. Tadano, on the other hand, is your average high school boy, with a life motto of read their situation and make sure to stay away from trouble. The pair end up sharing the same homeroom and Tadano finds himself sitting next to Shoko, and this made him the enemy of everyone in the classroom. One day though, Tadano wakes up to the sound of Shoko's meow. He lies that he heard nothing, causing Shoko to run away. But before she can escape, he uses clues from this and other interactions with her to figure out that Shoko is not able to talk to others. In fact, she has a communication disorder. And then probably the sweetest and most heartwarming conversation begins. Still unable to talk to Tadano, Shoko begins to write out all her feelings on the chalkboard. Talking about how she's always wanted to eat lunch with her classmates but can't because she gets so nervous, and it doesn't help that all her classmates get nervous talking to her as well. She believes that they will run away from her because who wants to be friends with someone that can't talk? She then begins to list out all her thoughts and explaining all her fears when it comes to talking to people. After finally expressing all her feelings for probably the first time in her life, she writes goodbye to Tadano and asks him to forget about what he saw today. Tadano, not wanting her to keep living in fear and alone, writes out the most common opener ever, and thus they begin to have a non-verbal conversation on the blackboard. Until Tadano asks Shoko what's her dream, in which she responds to have 100 friends and begs Tadano not to laugh at her silly dream. Tadano then proclaims himself to be her first friend and states that he'll help her get the other 99. Shoko agrees, blushes, and asks him to take care of her before running out of the classroom. And just like that, the most wholesome love story begins. In terms of story, the mangaka was able to introduce a ton of fun and wacky characters without it seeming overwhelming and pointless, because the main goal of the story is to help Shoko make 100 friends. By making this the goal so early in the series, we the audience know that while yes, this is a romance story, romance isn't the main topic. Shoko's goal is. As someone that reads and watches way too much romance comedies, I can honestly say that a lot of these series drag on way too long because they sort of make the same common mistake. They build the story around the relationship instead of a goal, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Love Games, Oran High School Host Club, Maid-sama Horihime are examples of series built around a relationship that were perfectly fine, and that's cause they ended when it was time. Series like Nisekoi, Domestic Girlfriend, Lovely Complex, and right now Rent a Girlfriend are just some of my favorite series that come to mind that may have dragged on a bit too much at the end. Which again isn't the end of the world, but it's something that gets annoying the more times you notice it. I forget which mangaka said this, but they stated once the couple figures out they have feelings for one another, you're 85% done with the story. Unless the story isn't revolved around the couple but instead of a goal. And that goal helps build up the couple. One of the best series I've read that does this perfectly is Kaguya-sama Love is War. From the very first episode / panel, we know that Kaguya and Shirogane love each other, but a goal was introduced. And with this at hand, Kaguya-sama never felt like it dragged, and is still going 220 chapters later strong. In this series, the goal is to help her get 100 friends. Everything else added is just icing. This is just a long-winded way of saying the story doesn't get boring or repetitive. You would think just introducing random characters every couple chapters so she can make a new friend will get boring and repetitive, but it doesn't. You're rooting for these characters to achieve their goal before you're cheering for them to get with one another. And spoilers, when they finally do get together, you don't get that finally they took so damn long feeling like I did with Nisekoi, but rather you're just happy and you want to keep reading in hopes that there's more story to be added later on. I'll give the story so far at 8.5 out of 10. In terms of character, again, the stars aligned in the anime community because Shoko is adored, to the point that it is viewed down upon to lewd her. That's how much people love this character. The horniest community on the internet is valiantly protecting a beautiful anime character from being looted. This is the same community that looted planets. Planets. I've never seen anything like this before. And before you ask, yes, I am part of the Shoko Lewd Prevention Unit. Moving on to Tadano, this guy did the unthinkable. He went from the nerdy quiet type that dominate this genre for the most part to a full-fledged Chad. Not really, but god do I love this guy. He's so easy to root for and very relatable with the way he acts around everyone, not just girls. A genuine nice guy that you want to see win. As for side characters, first we have Najimi Osuna, a person whose gender is unknown. Najima has known Tadano since childhood, so they're pretty good friends even though Najima is a bucket of chaos. Best way I could describe them is, just think of a fusion of Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen and Chika from Kaguya-sama. They are the wild card of the group. Najima's ability to make me laugh whenever they are involved in the story is commendable because, for the most part, these annoying characters can be kind of tough to deal with because they don't really add anything to the plot. But Najima does. After some back and forth, Najima too decides to help Shoko make 100 friends. Next is Rumika Mambagi, who is introduced as the rival to Komi-san, but becomes much more than that. Obviously being the rival is her main thing, but instead of having a bitter rivalry with Komi-san for Tadano, they end up actually becoming best friends and supporting each other and often planning their moves on Tadano together so they don't have to get in each other's way. Again, for the most part, the rival character that gets introduced midway through the school year is a trope that's very annoying because it doesn't really add anything I haven't seen before. It's just a way for the real couple to figure out their feelings. For the most part, very rarely, the rival character never wins. But the way Rumika was able to grow from being just a trope to a full-fledged character that I was sort of rooting for even though it goes against the main person I was rooting for, is a testament to the mangaka's ability to write diverse characters. And these two weren't the only ones. There's Tadano's sister and Komi-san's brother who have their own little subplot going on too. And most of the high school that wants to be Shoko's friend as well. To wrap this up quickly though, when you're introducing so many characters in one story, it's difficult to give them all diverse and unique qualities where they don't feel like copies of themselves or exact opposites. Fairy Tail is the best anime I know that has a super large cast that felt unique. But Komi-san Can't Communicate is up there as well. 10 out of 10. Finally, for the art, this is gonna be very quick. It's surprisingly good, no complaints. What I do love is the way Tomohito Oda really nails it when he's trying to showcase Komi-san's beauty. Some panels are just breathtaking with her, and some panels are just hilarious. Just solid art, great balance. 8 out of 10. Anyways, with the anime on the way, there is no better time to get into this series, so hopefully you do and enjoy as much as I did. That's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notification, and I'll see you beautiful bastards next time.
She my little mama, drippin' in the sauna, Dolce & Gabbana, yeah. I ain't focused on the drama, only with my commas, I be stacking dollars, yeah. I ain't even tryna holla, I don't even wanna, shawty shit gonna, yeah. I be rolling marijuana, coping with the trauma, turn me to a monster, yeah. She my little mama, dripping in the sauna, thought she